In terms of layers, you'll need a couple of layers of long john, polypro type of long underwear, a couple layers for the top and a couple layers for the bottom. This is all Capilene. Any of the brands will work, just no cotton. No cotton socks, no cotton t-shirts, no cotton long underwear, because cotton soaks up water and then it freezes and then you freeze. So a couple layers for the top, a couple layers for the bottom for base layers. Next up, on top of that layer, I would recommend something kind of more in the medium range, something about like I'm wearing, just a little bit heavier than a base layer, but not quite full insulation yet. And then on top of that, you can either have like a lightweight down jacket like this. This is really light, but it's about the same weight as a medium to heavyweight fleece. Fleece is probably really more ideal because it still insulates if it gets wet, whereas this won't. And then over the very top, we have a couple of things. One is you want to have a nice waterproof, wind-proof shell. Gore-Tex or something of a similar nature will work just fine to shed the elements. And then something to really insulate you to keep you warm at night. And whether that's a synthetic jacket, a down jacket, something like this, you need to have something to pull on at night because it has the potential to get really cold. I would say the majority of the time I wear this jacket and I get by fine. I think I pulled on this jacket maybe once during our trip. But one thing to remember is from year to year the conditions can vary pretty substantially. So you want to be prepared for anything that comes and have a wide range of layers so that you can keep yourself warm and dry. Next up, a little bit of sun protection. Make sure you have a nice pair of sunglasses. I wouldn't take your favorite sunglasses because on trips like this things tend to get trashed. Lenses can get scratched, etc. I just have a pair of sort of standard UVA, UVB sunglasses. I also carry a pair of goggles just in case the weather gets kind of bad, so that you've got a little bit more coverage. A couple other essentials to cover here before we get into some of the more optional group type gear. Everybody needs to have a headlamp, and everybody needs to have spare batteries for your headlamp. There'll be a lot of activities at night. The sun will actually go down a lot of times before we're finished eating dinner, and so we'll be cooking, cleaning by headlamp. Same thing goes in the morning. Everybody will be carrying a mountaineering ice axe. It needs to be of a standard mountaineering variety and not a technical ice tool. We'll be learning how to use these for self-arrest, for alpine travel, and also to help set up our camp. Again, if you have your own, bring it. If you don't, they can be rented, or if you feel like you're going to be doing this for a long period of time, you can purchase one of these relatively inexpensively. Next up, everybody's got to have some tubular webbing. 15 feet is what we would recommend. And in addition to go with that is a nice locking carabiner. This stuff you'll actually have to purchase, but it's inexpensive. This is for, we're going to teach you how to build a harness. We're going to do some knot tying practice and practice some general mountaineering skills while we're up there. And so you'll need some of these things to learn how those skills work. Everybody needs to carry your own first aid kit. The 10 essentials, if you're not familiar with the 10 essentials, I would recommend Googling it so that you have a better idea of what that means. And you need to carry those things. And you need to carry any sort of personal medications that you would normally take with you. For me, like I carry my albuterol inhaler, I carry some ibuprofen, some allergy medicine. Those are the things that I need every single day. If you have any of those types of things, you need to bring them with you. We will have a very large group first aid kit, but it's designed to supplement what you already have. It's not designed to support everyone for the full 9 days. Moleskin for blisters is essential, especially if you're not familiar with hiking and double plastic boots for any sort of period of time. The likelihood of you getting a blister is, let's just say it's likely. But you could do some prophylaxis before you go by taping up your feet with some duct tape or something like that if you know that they're coming. Waterproof matches. Everybody's got to have a compass. We'll bring a ton of hand sanitizer, but it's not bad to bring a little bit of your own as well. Everybody needs an emergency whistle, a pocket knife, some other kind of bandage supplies, and everybody will have a map of the area, or at least everybody's group will have a map of the area. I think that pretty much covers all of the essential gear that you'll need for the alpine section. Let's talk a little bit about some of the group gear that everybody will have, be kind of sharing the load, and some of the optional equipment as well. If you have an avalanche beacon, bring it. We'll be learning how to do avalanche searches with probes, and learning how to travel safely in avalanche country with a beacon. Next up is a probe. We'll have plenty of all of these things, but it's always nice to have a little bit of extra if you have one. Bring it. Shovels will be essential for building camp, doing some of our avalanche rescue practice. And then other optional stuff, it's kind of nice to have a day pack if you don't want to carry the big pack around every day, because we will be out and about away from camp for fairly extended periods of time through the course of the day. Just remember that anything optional that you bring, you're going to have to carry it. So you'll eventually have to weigh some of the costs of the extra weight, carrying it up the hill, versus the benefit of having it there for the trip. I think that pretty much covers all of the alpine gear. So we'll move on in a couple of minutes to talk about the river and the desert.